We typically use common names when we refer to plants. Rarely do we resort to those Latin names very often, but sometimes common names can be confusing. And this plant is a real good example of that. This is called the asparagus fern. Now, this plant is closely related to the asparagus that we eat. It's the same genus, but it is certainly not a fern. This is a plant that belongs to the lily family. It blooms, it makes fruits, it seeds. Here, come take a look. You can see looking right down here, we've got some green fruit hanging on this plant and some bright red fruit. You'd never see anything like this on a true fern. So these are not ferns, but they can be used that way in the landscape or in containers. Now, the asparagus fern, this species here is called Asparagus densiflorus, comes in two forms. This is the Myers, it's also called the foxtail fern, has these wonderful upright fronds. Look how they stand straight up and make a really, really interesting plant. The other form is the Springeri form, and that's the one that you see right here. We typically just call this the asparagus fern. Now, this is a wonderful plant for hanging baskets. The asparagus ferns are quite drought tolerant. That makes them really great for hanging baskets. Now, these plants can be used in containers or in the ground. When planted in the ground, they're hardy all across Louisiana, but they do freeze back in the wintertime. When they turn brown like this, it's no problem whatsoever. They're perfectly good. Just cut them back around about late February or March, and they'll be green and beautiful all summer long. Grow them in full sun to part shade, and you'll be really happy with these tough, resilient plants. For Get It Growing, I'm Dan Gill with the LSU Ag Center.